Hello everybody, and welcome to this Voxeurop Live with Oleksandra Romantsova, Executive Director of the Center for Civil Liberties in Kyiv. Before introducing our guest, Oleksandra Romantsova, we are thanking Voxeurop's member very warmly for the support. It enables us to remain independent, and if you're not a member yet, we're looking forward to your support. We have a tradition. Could you please just let us know in the chat in which city or country you are right now? I am Catherine, co-founder and editorial director of Voxeurop, and I'm based in Paris. We will record this event so as to prepare a shorter version that'll be published on Voxeurop and on YouTube later this week.
Thanks, Catherine. Hello, I'm Gian-Paolo Accardo, editor-in-chief of Voxeurop. So, Oleksandra, you're the executive director of the Center for Civil Liberties in Ukraine, where you have been working since 2014. The center is a co-laureate of the 2022 Nobel Peace Prize. And this Ukrainian NGO, which was founded in Kyiv in 2007, has been documenting the war crimes perpetrated by the Russian troops since Vladimir Putin's full-scale invasion in February 2022. To do so, you collect testimonies from those living in a parts of Ukraine which are controlled by Moscow since the annexation of Crimea in 2014. And according to the center's data, more than 70,500 people have died and more than 3,000 are missing in those parts of Ukraine. As of today, around 20% of Ukraine is under Russian occupation. What's going on in these regions which are under Moscow's control? And how do we know about it?
So for us, it's not in news what happened there, because from 2014, when this war started, we documented war crimes and we see patterns which exactly before was touched only 7% of our territory occupied Crimea and Donbass region, but now it's 22 fully, because 30 that was at the beginning of invasion 2022, but part of this territory we can reoccupy it, but still what means be occupied? That's not mean change the flag, that's all, nothing changed, just other flag. That means that you started exist at the area without any law, without any understandable rules which exactly protect your human dignity and your rights. What we have there, we have war crimes, crimes against humanity, an episode of genocide. We don't have any information officially from Russia's side. For example, you heard about forcibly relocation of children and young people, and forcibly so-called evacuation when people pushed to leave this zone to the territory of Russia Federation. And officially in international humanitarian law, you need to have information about that. About children, for example, it's possible that for their safety, children will be just replaced from war zone. But you need to give this information to country which is exactly responsible for them, country of citizenship for these children. But started from 2017, exactly Russia stopped to give any information about children, what happened, what kind of status they have in the occupied territory of Ukraine and Donbass and Crimea. But now in 2022, we see massive genocide act, which exactly look at 10,000 of children, like minimum, near 20,000, which we know by names, but maybe even more because Russian side give the numbers like 700,000 children was replaced. So it's one of the way how it looks like. Just imagine the worst district of your town, I don't know, and just imagine that all around the view at the occupied territory, because you can be kidnapped. You can, if you are a journalist, volunteer, head of NGO, if you're a leader of religion community, any religion community, at Ukraine we have 72 of them. If you some kind of leader, for example, local politician, you will be a first target to kidnap you and torture you and push you, make a video that you support occupation. And next, you will be totally controlled, and all what you can how you can act at this territory will never be fully free, So even if we speak about any humanitarian needs, even this way, Russia absolutely control the population in the occupied territory. And one of the biggest problems for Ukraine, we can protect people there. Anyone, exactly, any international mission don't have access to this territory. Any humanitarian mission, even people who have, opportunity to go to any district of Yemen, but here at the territory of controlled by Russian forces of Ukraine, you don't have access. Not only Red Cross Committee, which exactly we really asked to control illegal place of detention, or torture chamber, which exactly 98% of people which we brings back from territory controlled by Russian forces, we have testimony that they was tortured, and not once. So even such place, even for such international organization who trustable and who have a main mandate to have access to such place, they don't have any access. And that happened from 2014 exactly. International Red Cross Committee don't have access even at the Crimea and Donbass. So we have war crimes, we have total scare, we have fear not to keep the order which given by occupied authority, and we have resistance. We have resistance of people, Ukrainian people, who understood that it can be it can be normal to live there. So before that, we have this territory, we have near the 6 million people population, but now different state sources give such numbers near 4 million, but it's still 4 million Ukrainian citizens, which exactly Ukraine really care. And last one, my sentences for this question. For your understanding how we collect the data. First of all, from that territory, still we have some connection through internet, but it's really dangerous for people in the occupied territory. For example, speak with someone by telephone at Ukrainian language, or write someone to organization like Center for Civil Liberties who prohibited at the territory of Russia Federation. But still we have information from there. We have information for people who escape there. And for example, one of the appeal of the relatives that was small part of Mykolaiv region, south part of Ukraine, Mykolaiv region, which was occupied, we have two appeal from relatives about forcibly disappears people, two of them. And when this small part of Mykolaiv region was deoccupied, we found there torture chamber and 27 bodies. It's dead corpse, and two of this person who was looked by their family and who appealed to us, they were there. So that's proportion which exactly we expect, how much we know about war crimes which happened there, and how much exactly we will have a tracks, have a evidence when we will have access to occupied territory. So for now, our main feeling that occupied territory, it's mostly everyday butcher.
You've already answered, I suppose, for people who are either resisting or are targets to the Russian troops. How is it for, I'd say, ordinary people in villages, and how is life at the moment?
It's really important to understand, common or ordinary people now with the occupied territory, because if you're ordinary people but you have historical books about history of Ukraine, Russia will not account you like ordinary people. They will write you at the list of Nazi and fascists. If you ordinary, taxi driver, or if you potential man of age which can be usable for recruitment to army, for them you are a target. If you lawyer, if you proactive, not only journalist, but if you're just a volunteer, you're even not the head of NGO, you will be targeted. So that's what we see at the occupied and de-occupied after north part of Ukraine, which we started documented at the field mission in 2022. That from, for example, village 100 people, we have 50 graves at the yards. That was just, we have one street which each house during this street you have a they just put the earth there, people who was killed by Russian soldiers. And when we're trying to ask what kind of motivation these soldiers have, what kind of accusation was around about these people, they, like, people who survived describe absolutely, unmotivated, not understandable situation, how these people dying. One of such example, it's 6 houses and one Russian soldier knocked on the door and killed first person who opened the door. And that's evidence. I have that testimony. I have from person who live at six houses. So he heard it, knocking, shooting, knocking, shooting, knocking, shooting. And he just was absolutely shocked because he waiting the next knocking will be on his door. So do we have picture of understandable, motivation, why they do that, and whom they exactly think it's civilians and whom is like ordinary people, and who can be leader of resistance, how they told about, because all of these people, they target them because they look at them like person who can, mobilize part of society around them. So sure, it's like target which we saw is, for example, priests. We have a different kinds of religion, so it can be priest from, I don't know, some Protestant church or Orthodox church, but Ukrainian patriarchate. So that what happened. You're a priest, some part of society, can be mobilized around you, so you will be a target. They trying to control you if you are not openly support occupation, if you are not openly support Russian authority or something in this way. You will be tortured, you will be punished, you can be killed. So how people feel it? People trying to find opportunity if they can live, and it's not so easy because Russians never give the green corridor through the front line. So if you decided to escape from the zone, you need to going through Russia side, and that means you need to go through so-called. It's like separation at the border between occupied territory and Russia side. So and reason why you will not, for example, all your family going to this border, and they give opportunity going, for example, young part of your family, but relatives or father can be sent into the special camp of unfiltrated, filtration, it's the same word. So unfiltrated people, because you have a tattoo, even not with Ukrainian symbolic, but because you have a tattoo. And that's quite a lot of people in Ukraine, is quite popular. Or because you have they found some photo at your phone which they don't like, and all of your gadget will be checked. So all of this forcibly disappeared people, it's one of the biggest war crime during all of the operation of Russia forces, because it can happen with anyone with a huge numbers of reasons. So you at the occupied territory, you live at this fear. You can be pushed, for example, sent to so-called rest camp your children's. You can be pushed to send your children's or so-called excursion for Russian university, and you can be sure that these children will come back to you. You never know what can be reason why you arrested and when you put in the basement. So it's going like this.
Thank you. So from what you're saying, I understand that people don't move freely. Do you know whether they manage to be in touch with their relatives outside the occupied area, or is it dangerous also to be connected through phones? Or
yes, it's dangerous, and we have for your understanding, that's happened from 2014. A lot of people from Donetsk, Crimea region, they don't have like a resource, to rebuild their lives, to left all property, which exactly lose absolutely costs. So you can, like, for example, sell something in Donetsk or Lugansk and have enough money to buy something in Lviv, for example, something like this, because all of this lose the cost. And now happening with Mariupol, with like left bank of Kherson. So, for people like Ukraine don't have such much resource. You just to give, like in Cyprus, for example. In Cyprus, that happened that European Union give enough resource to people who replace from Greek and Turkey place, they change the places and they have enough resource to start their new lives in new places. At Ukraine, it's like internal displaced people, it's more than 30 million, and 13 million, it's people who left Ukraine, left out and going to some European countries or some countries whole the world, exactly, European most. So what that means for them? That means for them that if some reason they don't have a resource, or they have, for example, person who can leave this place because it's a person who like are not prepared to go in another place except their house. Mostly it's people, under 60 or something like this. So these people absolutely stuck there. In such situation, they're perfect vulnerable group for Russian Federation, who trying to show them that people who like Russian, they want to be citizen of Russia Federation. And after this, they started be going like day by day pushing. For example, if your child before 14, you can study in something in the Ukrainian school. We have online school, distance education. But if someone will know that you have education at the Ukrainian school, even online, your parents can be arrested. If you say something about supporting Ukraine, your parent will be arrested. One of the example that every day at the occupied territory, Russian children's in Russian schools, children need to singing Russian items. Some teachers, they control you if you're not open the mouth enough, not make this fully lip sync, So they will control you personally and will told you, no, for tomorrow you need to know all the text, all the lyrics of this item, and you will do that before the upon all of your class, all of your all of your friends. And one of such child, which was controlled by that, he was like 12 years old. He was pushed like this: you need to study lyrics, and tomorrow we'll do that for whole beyond whole the class. And this child, when he was put in beyond the class, started singing Ukrainian item, not Russian, and that's really inspiring story from one side. From other side, 2 days after his relatives, his father and his mother, was arrested, and because teacher going to Russia police and told about this episode. Sometimes you can imagine that Russia Federation truly think that crimes, it's any connection with Ukrainian identity, any connection. You can even say about, but even before, when Ukraine controls something, that's prohibited. And that's a question when we speak about what this war about. This war not about the land. Russia have, biggest square in the world. And it's even not about the people. If they really interesting to have a new population, they will much more care about population or the previous. We know that at the front line, Russia don't take a dead corpse of their own soldiers. And that's a testimony not only like Ukrainian side, but that testimony Russian soldiers from other sides. So that's like huge numbers of corpses at the field, the battlefield stay. So they don't care about population. So it's only about control and power, So that's how we feel.
Thank you, Oleksandra. Yeah, you kind of described the Putin system that was set up by Russia in the occupied territories. So there's one question from the audience from Otmar Laundinsky, I guess in Vienna, who asks if you can describe also the media situation in the occupied zone, if there is any access to independent media, be it via internet or satellite. Yeah, I wanted also to ask you if there is any kind of, how does the judiciary work, for example? If people have complaints about the way they're treated, who can they address to, or is it also impossible for them?
Let's see two periods of occupation. First 8 year Donbass and Crimea. At Crimea and Donbass, that was just vacuum of any, not even independent, any journalist work at all. Even if you just have your own, I don't know, vlog, or you just write your position at the Facebook, they will account you like journalist and will put you at the that one of the first biggest group of political prisoners from 2014. And any person who do that, for example, Crimea Tatars community, they started such initiative that because journalists not exist there, people who just going to the court hearing against the Crimea Tatars, against some political accusation, and they just make broadcasting or online translation, all of this. And what happened 24 March 2017. 26 people who trying to do that in different courts, they was arrested, and that's one of the biggest group who now staying in the Russian prison from 2014 period. So are there exist journalists? No. Just as we know, just not so many list of journalists, international journalists have some access of the occupied territory. But even from Russia's side, any international recognized independent journalists like, I don't know, Meduza, Novaya Gazeta, someone who exactly have any reputation of objective, view, they don't have any access from Russian side. They have more access from Ukrainian side. So because you can be registered here at Ukraine, you will be checked, sure, by security of Ukraine. And after this, you will have access to speak with people at the front line, speak with people at the gray zone, and from Ukrainian side, not from Russia side. From Russia side, any person who exactly working by journalist standards and not just call themselves journalists, but de facto exist like propagandist and working by the order of Kremlin and official Russia state can work there. So that's a problem of this disbalance with the information. So if you, for example, are trying to find information about how tired people at the front line at Ukraine, you found only information from Ukrainian side. That's why you will think, maybe Ukrainian have a bad, worse situation at the front side, at the community of soldiers. No, from Ukrainian you have any information. From Russia side you will not have any. So that's a reason. And so when we speak about online or daily. We see this progress at control by internet sphere from Russia's side. The YouTube not work at the territory of Russian Federation. So when they started this connecting territory of Ukraine occupied by Russian with Russian system, before that Crimea went this way to be connected with area of control and rules at the occupied territory, and that started with same. So same control with internet, same control with freedom of speech at the territory of Russian Federation. Now it's going to occupied territory with worse situation, because they want control much more, and there still exist partisan resistance there, underground resistance. So for them, they trying to arrest it and take any person who they have any arguments that they can be connected with this resistance. So if we will speak about courts, that's a really interesting point, because From one side, we see that Russian prosecutor system trying to connect this region with prosecutor system, and they look, for example, previous 8-year court decision from so-called Lugansk and Donetsk People Republic. From one side. From other side, you don't have fully court process in Russia enough independent that you will have any decision which exactly you can use and can be protected. When we trying to cooperate with Russia, lawyers who come into cases of Ukrainian illegally detained people, civilians first of all, because prisoners of war, they don't have, even if they have accusation from Russia side, they don't have an independent lawyer at all. It's impossible. So we're not trying to, find the person who can protect and can have a decision of court by, who say they're not guilty or something like this. We're trying to just use this person to be in touch with this illegally detained civilians and figure out where they are, in which condition they are, and what condition their health, and are they not dying? Because last 3 years we have 173 dead person which Russia bring back the bodies. That was people who was illegally detained. They was alive in the moment when Russia was arrest them, but they bring us 173 just dead corpse from captivity. So that's why when we speak about justice and just some system of courts, we see it like a kind of show. So you can't exactly find any justice there. And really important that any person who trying to work like a truly lawyer, who try and support their clients, all of them prosecutes, have a prosecuting. I mean, they trying to bring back their licensee. They trying to arrest them, even arrest. We have such cases in Crimea now, and they try to scare them. And a new legislation of Russia Federation, now it's a bill, but we're waiting that it's happened, that any lawyer who have a license, Russian lawyer who have a license, but live outside of the country more than half of year, they automatically takes back their licenses. So they can give for example, give some official, consultation or send some documents to the system of justice at the Russia Federation. Occupied territory now, it's like, war zone with trying to bring Russia system. Russia system, it's system without any courts, without any justice in the courts. They exist some courts, but waiting that some decision of this court will be independent and about justice, it's not what exactly we expected. We use the lawyers just like people who can see our victims.
Thank you, Oleksandra. I have again a question about journalism and journalists. There's a follow-up question by Otmar Laodinsky on is Ukrainian TV then not available there in the occupied territories? And can you tell us how many journalists are imprisoned at the moment in the occupied territories? And do you have news about that?
So we have like minimum. You need to understand that to figure out is a person forcibly disappeared and still alive, or at a captivity, or arrested, because most of people, civilians who are arrested, and that's like minimum 70,000 people, for your understanding. That's a lot of people. That's people who don't have any accusation. They incommunicado, like it's told. So they don't have any charge, so they don't have any case. And so we can, for example, trying to send the lawyers to their case, just figure out where they are and how much of them. So for now, we have like minimum 5 journalists arrested from Ukrainian side. And we have a lot of journalists who try and be independent from Russia side. And they sitting in the jail now because mostly they like betrayer of Russian population and all of this. Here, I can really recommend that look at the statistic of political prisoning made by Memorial. It's our partner and co-receiver of Nobel Peace Prize in 2022. They have a special program of political prisoning, and we cooperate with them. We started now international campaign which called People First. And that campaign about that negotiation need to start it from point of release the people for main category. It's civilians illegally detained by Russians. It's prisoners of war because condition of their staying is like horrible, and we have dead people there. And it's surely it's our children's. And last one, like it's Russian political prisoners, people who against the war. And they're trying to show it in any way, in professional way, or in just, in communication, in network. And that's Memorial exactly have this list, and they keep the rights. So about TV, no, Russians never give the opportunity to have you fully, freedom of speech and any sources of information. That's why YouTube, which exactly bring a lot of money to Russia. It's a huge market, and a lot of Russian propagandists use the YouTube to have to be popular. But even YouTube, they stopped. So you don't have uncontrolled internet, so you need a VPN, like special system. And this VPN now, it's a new legislation of Russia Federation. They need to be registered, and they trying to control all of them. So it's little bit even worse started than in China, So, but official to have Ukrainian internet by, I don't know, in cable TV or something in other ways, Sputnik, it will never happened with you. Only internet, it's only one sources which you can try to have some internet. But internet more and more controlled by Russia Federation. One of the project, I think that was 5 years before, one of the project was that removable station of stranded radio, Ukrainian radio to the occupied territory. But now that's impossible because front line, it's moving. So it's really dangerous to do that. So it's quite humanitarian, like it's not forced priority. So do people have some information? Yes, but mostly that's all long wave radio. And you need to cover it. You can say about that. So, I have information from Ukrainian network or something like this. Because Russia really feel this power of propaganda, and what they're first doing when they occupied any cities, they send it big screen at the car going through city streets and just give the news by Russia side. So they do that. It's one, if you occupied some city or village, it's like second day you will see the screen at the movable, like by cars, who exactly spread all of this. So they really believe in propaganda. So they really care not give people other way how to get this information.
Thank you, Oleksandra. So how do you go about monitoring Russia's human rights violations in the occupied territories to document the war crimes? And can you still enter those territories today and then get out? And also, can you tell us a bit more about the Tribunal for Putin initiative that you are pioneering, launching?
No, we don't have access. Exactly from 2015, all our groups was put in the shooting list, and I was banned at the Russia Federation and Belarus from 2017. So that's impossible for Ukrainian documentators, any volunteers, lawyers or something, going to occupied territory. It started from 2015, I think. Last one at Donetsk, I was in 2014, before so-called referendum in Donetsk. And at Crimea, that was summer 2014, last one, before so-called, I was in the so-called referendum in Russia at Crimea. At 2014. So after this, exactly, Ukrainian lawyers, volunteers, we can go in there. That was before 2022, when border between line of connection between Ukrainian controlled by government side and occupied side, from 2014 till 2016, that was line of fighting. But after, when we have de facto ceasefire from 2016 till 2022, that started to be like kind of border, and people even moved. That was horrible moving. I mean, that was, you need stay the line, you don't have a normal access, you every time like searching and all of this. But that was possible. People can, for example, live in Donetsk and going to the and like cross this border between control and non-controlled territory and going to the controlled territory. And some people do that. But now you can do that not through front line, because whole the front line, it's a fighting line. Only one way how you can come from occupied territory to the territory of Ukraine or Europe or everywhere, you need to go through Russia Federation side, and you need to remember about filtration. That means nobody can be sure that they exactly passed through this filtration. So it's impossible. They don't give access to Red Cross committee, so they don't give access to UN mission. So no, they can't give the access to Ukrainian human rights defenders. So still we have information from there only if someone, and sometimes we have even huge database. For example, one of teacher from Mariupol, she spent there 1.5 years under the occupation. She decided to escape. That was really hard through Georgia. She going through the filtration, going through Georgia. She comes to Ukraine from Europe, and she bring us more than 2,000 episodes of potential war crimes and crime against humanity, and at their flashcard which she bring at her food. So it's horrible situation which can imagine when you come to Kyiv, for example, or Lviv even. Yes, we have drones, we have missiles, we have like scary situation. But when you start to come to front line, but here in Ukraine, like at Kyiv, you can find the restaurant work, most of educational like facilities work, hospitals work, and yes, our children need to go to bomb shelter maybe 3-5 times per day, but still here you have a life. But when you're going to the front line, when you're going to these places which exactly occupied, you need to understand it's totally not normal life, and it's not like can kill you every day by some guns, but can you kill because you don't have access to the normal medicine list which you need, or you don't have access to your property or your rights from Ukrainian side, a lot of this. Tribunal for Putin, that's initiative which exactly we create with more than 40 other organizations. 3 of us, we was first human rights defender, Ukrainian Helsinki Union of Human Rights, Kharkiv Human Rights Groups, and Center for Civil Liberties. We started documented war crimes from 25th of March 2022. Use our experience, previous documentation with previous coalition, and we going to the field. So Tribunal for Putin is such initiative which exactly have a really interesting web page, because we have a 7-language translation: Italian, Spain, German, you can find there. English, sure. So, and T4P or QA, it's called. And you have a live database. So we have more than 84,000 episodes, different kinds of war crimes, genocide episodes, and crimes against humanity. Collect at the field mission, hold the territory of Ukraine, because everyday occupation, it's like, when you come to the village which spent under the occupation 1 month, you bring from one village, your visit, like 50 cases. But except such occupation, we have, for example, destroying the hospital, the whole territory of Ukraine, or churches or other cult buildings. So it's happened everywhere and they hold the territory of Ukraine because Russians target them by missiles or drones. So we collect all of this data and we cover whole the territory of Ukraine. And Tribunal for Putin have a main aim, that's justice for all the victims, all the survivors of war crimes and crimes against humanity and other international crimes in the territory of Ukraine, launched by Russian forces from 2014. And now we cooperate sure with General Prosecutor Office. We give them information to open the cases, and we have lawyers who prepare the special submission to ICC, for example, or other mechanism, international mechanism, UN, Council of Europe, or OSCE, because at the long perspective, we want to sure have a tribunal. We want to sure have a decision at the law way. But at the short aim, that bring this information for political decision for now, because it's impossible just stay waiting till this conflict ended and we will have maybe not some tribunal. No, we need two reaction for now, and we need to have this data, which exactly we personally collect. That's one of my main work during the last 3 years. I go into the field mission personally and teach a lot of monitors how to do that, and we figure out what kind of crimes exist, what kind of patterns. And we send it sure to ICC because we really wanted that ICC have opportunity to give the warrant, that now exists 2 warrants, we're waiting more. That's why we so support ratification of by Ukraine Rome Statute. And now Ukraine is the full members of ICC.
We're already touching upon the future. And do we know how people there, in the territories, occupied territories, see the future of the different possible post-war scenario? And in Ukraine, generally speaking, right now, how is a possible ceasefire perceived in both, actually, in the occupied territories as well?
It's 42 million people. Even people in occupation. I don't know. Nobody have opportunity exactly make fully legitimize, any question or something like this. How they see, I think the people at the occupied territory only dreaming about stay alive. It's not about futures. It's about they just wanted to have any perspective of any future. You need to be sure that you stay alive. So you can plan something if you be sure that nothing, your work, your house, your education facilities, not be explosion tomorrow. No, nobody have this information, and Russia will never give you opportunity to have this clear, questionnaire of these people. So at Ukraine, we have a huge number of discussion. Ukraine, we have before some studies about opinion of Ukrainian citizen, what the main human rights which they have. And freedom of speech always was in the top, That does not mean that we are so professional and so politeness at our discussion. No, mostly that's quite rude and unpoliteness. But freedom of speech exists here and for Ukrainians in one of the ways. So you can see a huge number of discussion with some investigation about some mistakes, about some proposition, about some waves. But that's what exactly we choose, for fighting for. We choose democracy, not one voice which told you how you need to live, but million of voices who trying to discuss, who trying to figure out how they can live together. So that's why we fighting against Russia, because Russia not propose any way to live like this, to be responsible for your own life. Russia proposed only one way. I will told you what you will do. Are you will stay alive, or are you going to die at the front line? Are you, for example, what kind property you will have, or what kind of businesses you will have, and what kind of rules you will have? Do you will have any opportunity to have, court or any other way to have a fair trial or something like this? So that's big difference. It's not even, for your understanding, we have a Russian citizen, people with Russian passport who live at Ukraine. And such people was affected by some of missiles or something like this. We have a lot of quite big numbers of mixed family And people who with Ukrainian passport but stay at the territory of Russia Federation under this cover of this propaganda machine, and people who with Russian passport but live at the Ukraine with like full access of different opinion, different sources, to go and look by your own eyes. It's not a problem with Ukraine. People have absolutely other way of view. So, and that's important. That's biggest understanding of hybrid war, which exactly Russia provided. Russia not invited. I mean, that's happened much more before. But now we have a hybrid war at the 7 levels. We have a hybrid war at economic level, at political level, military level, sure. But except that we have cyber war, first world cyber war here. And 2 months before, Russia, after the 3 years of trying, have a huge success in this. They destroyed the virtual machine which give the numbers and different register system of Ukraine. Just imagine that tomorrow your system in your country, which give you number of passport, of number of your, social insurance, or number of registration of your property or your tax paying. Just imagine that they just destroy it. That's how work cyber war, and we have now. They try and do that like 24 February 2022. They was not success. They trying to destroy our health system, which same the cyberspace. They was not success. They trying to destroy it property register before, and now they was success 2 months before. So we just trying to rebuild it, and it took 2 months, and even till now we don't have a full register work again. They're not trying to steal this data like usual, private cyberspace. They're trying to destroy it. And they're trying to destroy, for example, health system, because they're trying to destroy recording of our children's, which they exactly forcibly removed to the territory of Russia Federation. And we have a huge propagandist information, like pillow of war, which exactly flew into the mental understanding. And that's mental understanding. It's not, you are not protected by this mental fluence if you just have Ukrainian, blood or passport. No, if you stay under this propagandist machine, you will start to think about that you are not responsible for your life. You are not responsible for your country. It's not your right, it's to have a voice. And that biggest problem. And that's Russia propaganda bring to the whole the countries, which exactly prepared to listen to them. And they have a lot of money, to translate in really high quality in any language of Europe.
They have a lot of money to translate. I like this. Just before we open the mics to the audience, a short question and a quick answer, please, if possible. So the Center for Civil Liberties is still funded by USAID and the US government. And we know that the US government is now, it's on your website.
Maybe, but previous years we finished our last one was pact, and they finished it exactly in December 2025. So now we don't have them.
Good. In this case, you are not affected, I guess, by...
We're still affected because it's a question that we work together. As I told you about Tribunal for Putin, it's an initiative we join more than 40 organizations, and even Center for Civil Liberties privately don't have a project launched by NET, Freedom House. We exactly have a Freedom House, for example, and they now asking us brings back the money. What NET, Freedom House, Pact, ADI, USAID. So it's not DRL directly. So it's not only USAID affected. They destroyed whole the system of spending money by USA to the NGO of Ukraine, and this really punch our nearest colleagues. So some of organizations have like 60,000 or 60% of their budget, by supported by this project. And when you have agreement with, for example, some American agency, you're not going to the others, so you're not asking, you're planning your budget. So that's make a collapse at NGO sphere at Ukraine. And because we don't have a crowdfunding, I mean, it's impossible to explain population of Ukrainians why you need to donate your money, not for, I don't know, drones or army or children even, but human rights defenders, who these people, documented war crimes, why prosecutor office need to do that, like something like that. So it's not so popular, and it's not so easy to replace, source of money. So yeah, it's affected us because we cooperate with others, and because other donors, they frozen their competitions because they're trying to understand what will happen, and maybe they need to, help to other organizations. But I think some of organizations will not survive.
Thanks, Oleksandra. Oleksandra, we now would like to open the microphones for a few minutes left. There was a question by Florence Hartmann.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. You mentioned 7-level hybrid war, and you were left time for mentioning 5. Could you tell us, you said economic, political, military, cyber, propaganda, which is 5?
Information, yeah, and mental.
Thank you.
It's 6, and 7 one really need to the demographic. Because Russia because Russia trying to change the demography situation. Even inside the Russia, we need to understand the biggest number of soldiers recruit to Russia army from ethnic republic. They have republic regions, okrug. They like a federation, have different names. But if you look, biggest number of people who was recruited to Russian army and die at the front line, it's a people from republic where people looking like Asians or Arabic type. And they, in that moment, they still the European-looking Ukrainian children and trying to hide them at the territory of Russian Federation. We found the Ukrainian children at Kamchatka. For your, I think you know the geography. From Ukraine to Kamchatka, it's 8 time zone, for your understanding. So they spread the Ukrainian children, which we can find for whole the territory of Russian Federation. And same with our illegal detained people. They send them to Siberia, after the Ural Mountains or something like this. So we see this situation in Crimea. They're trying to push out native population of Crimea Tatars, Krimchaki, and Karaims. It's like three native Crimea Tatars biggest. They're trying to push them out, and they bring them more than 140,000 Russian replaced people, so from different region of Russian Federation to Crimea. And same they doing at the, for example, occupied territory of Ukraine. So old occupied territory, for example, Donbass and Crimea, they recruit men from there to their army. So these people dying to fight with Ukrainians, and they recruit the Ukrainian teenagers, boys. I mean, teenagers from Ukraine who was replaced in the territory of Russian Federation, even with parents. Some of them moved there with the parents. So they knocking the door of Russian army, which exactly recruitment in the Russia army to fight with Ukrainian army at the front line. So they exactly trying to change the demography in such quite, like brutal and straight way.
We had a couple in case the audience was a bit shy, which sometimes happens, although not all the time. So one would have been about the possible different treatment from your Russian speakers in the occupied territories and Ukrainian speakers, or even Tatar speakers. Are they being treated differently by the Russian occupiers?
Tatar speakers, like any opportunity to develop Crimea Tatar, because Crimea Tatar, it's not same like Tatar. Crimea Tatar speaking, we have a university with cathedra, with a place where exactly that was developed, studying and all of this. So they absolutely shut it down. They officially showing that at Crimea, it's need to be official. You can choose Ukrainian, Russian, or Crimea Tatar's language, but any except Russian, not using education or somewhere else. And yes, if you speak at Ukraine or if you speak in Tatars, you can be treated more than, and you can be arrested only because again, you can protect your right for diversity of culture or something like this. So, and that's happened, first of all, at occupied territory. Because Crimea Tatars not use it somewhere else, for example, in some region of Russia Federation.
I think there's time maybe for a last quick question. It'd be nice if it came from the audience. Just a quick one.
I have a question, if I may. So, hi everyone. Thank you, Sasha and Slava Ukraini. And yeah, I'm Lithuanian, so I guess you don't need to do a lot of explaining. I know you have a lot of support from the Baltic states, and it's just when the war started openly. I'm talking 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago for us. When the world got united, and then we really tried to help you. But now it's been going on forever. So I don't know where your strength comes, because obviously it's very easy to start doubting everything. The European support is failing on the government level. I mean, I'm very disappointed as well. And well, with what's happening in the US, it's really, really difficult to believe that, we can have a positive outcome. And I know that, for example, in Lithuania, we still support you and, with the money and so on. I just wanted to ask you if you feel that support, and maybe to ordinary people, what is it that we could do? I don't know if it's, the money, and then the distributing of the messages and Facebook, social network, and doing some kind of, propaganda on our end. I don't know which support you actually feel the most, and how else we could help you at this stage. Thank you.
We truly feel support of Baltic countries, and we understood we're absolutely in the same boat. We understood that's our nearest, nearest friends, nearest partner. It's true, but I think whole other Europe need to understand that exactly. Next will be whole Europe. Russia don't like EU idea. Russia don't like democracy. Russia don't like idea that people can solve their own destiny. So all of us were exactly in the same boat. Yes, we think that common people, it's the biggest power in the world. It's only one power who exactly can break the autocracy ideology at all. And that's why we started this initiative, which I told before, about people first, because now we see one of the biggest opportunity of this negotiation process, which exactly, you never know, is it stuck or is it going? What happened? Is it, smoke in the air, or is it really something true actions going? But we're trying to put this, people who we can still rescue because they at the illegal captivity and illegally detaining at the Russian Federation. We can take them from there if we will put this like a first point. For that, for example, for your understanding, that international initiative, which exactly we started it together with Memorial, Russian-Ukrainian organization together, and we trying to we invite whole joining, and we propose different action. It can be action through online, it can be action to appeal to your government, it can be different kind of action. So people first initiative, it's a web page, which exactly I think we can send it now. I'm just to check.
It's I think right. It's like already
people
there.
First
yeah,
with one.
Yeah.
So that's one of the nearest way how you can help. And sure, we still need a lot of helping, which exactly can be your homework. It's still supporting of our refugees. Documented of crimes, that's a big question for EU. For example, we don't have common system how documented testimony of people who surviving after war crimes, and after this, left Ukraine. So these people with their pain, with their victimization there at the Europe, and in different countries of Europe, it's different system. At, for example, Czech Republic, you can go to police, they will collect this evidence, right? In the Poland, you need to go to prosecutor office. So not exist, common understanding how it's better to do. And third one, really important, what exactly can do at the outside of Ukraine without any agreement, even about special tribunal against the crime of aggression of Putin, but it's universal jurisdiction call. So national courts of Europe, for example, last one that was really good news about decision of Finland court about war crimes committed at the Donbass in 2015. So it's not even after invasion. It's in 2015, Finland finally gave the first decision. We have a German court, a Lithuania court. We have, I think, like minimum one case, sure. So why it's so important? Because we don't need to create something new. It's national system of courts who give the decision, which after can be, confirming exactly what happened in the territory of Ukraine. We're absolutely open to cooperate in that. So it's one of the way you can at home, like push your own government to do something at home, not waiting to when all the European countries have a negotiation and after do something with Orban or Fico or something like this, because who always against something important. So it's possible. I mean it's possible, and that's really important. That it's needed. European population need to understand that it's not something which can stop at the border between European Union and Ukraine. All practiced by Russians. It's not only Russians, it's North Korea, it's China, it's Iran. Now that group looks like this. But if Russia will not be judged for all what they're doing 11 years with Ukraine, and before that with Georgia, with Syria, with their own population in Chechnya. So if they will not be persecuted, not be judged, and if all of these people who surviving after these crimes will not have a voice, we will have this like a norma. And I think this, camp against the democracy start to be growing. A lot of countries look at this situation, and if Russia will be success, they will start to do that same way like Russia. So that's why we call it, it's fighting between autocracy and democracy, the territory of Ukraine.
Thank you very much. I think it's, unless you have something else, Gian-Paolo, but I think it's time to let you go. And we want to thank you very much, Oleksandra Romantsova, for being with us today and for this conversation. And thank you, everybody, for attending, participating in this live event. And if you enjoyed it, please share the next one on your social networks. We're counting on you.
Yes, and many thanks again also to our subscribers and our shareholders who make this possible. And to all the others, don't forget to subscribe to our weekly newsletter, which has just been posted in the chat, and to follow us on social networks. And please consider subscribing or donating to support our work. You can register to the newsletter, I already said it, in the link that has been shared. Thanks again, and see you in a few weeks with a new guest and a new topic, and continue to support Ukraine as much as you can.